Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. Actually though, I'm going to be doing a 20-minute workout today. I'm going to be including this workout on my playlist of 5-minute workouts, but it is also going to be included on my playlists of 10-minute workouts, 15-minute workouts, and 20-minute workouts, and I will explain all of that in just a few minutes. But before we get into the tutorial, I just want to remind you that, as always, there are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, please go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So first of all, here's what you're going to need for this workout: an exercise mat. Some sort of exercise mat, so a yoga mat or one of those thicker exercise mats. Whatever you've got is fine. If you do not have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all, but we are going to be doing some exercises where you're definitely going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So definitely grab some sort of an exercise mat if you have one. I am also going to be using my jump rope, but if you don't have a jump rope, that's fine. You do not need any exercise equipment whatsoever to do this workout right along with me. But I'm going to be using my jump rope mat, I'm going to be using my jump rope, and I'm also going to be using a set of light dumbbells. My lighter set of dumbbells, these are 5 pounds a piece. That is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter than that. You may need to use something heavier than that. That depends on you. It depends on, first of all, your strength and your level of fitness, but it also just depends on what you have available to you and also how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weights and make the decision that is best for you. But for this workout, I'm going to recommend that you choose weights that feel light to you. So if you have access to a set of dumbbells, but they feel heavy to you when you pick them up, I'm going to recommend that you opt for either A, an equipment-free version of the exercises that I'm using weights for, or B, I'm going to recommend that you choose something else for weight. So if you only have one set of dumbbells and they don't feel light to you when you pick them up, you can always substitute with household items. Or if you don't own any dumbbells whatsoever, you can substitute with something like a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles, for example. You can fill them with water, or you can fill them with something like uncooked rice or dried beans, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent. Okay, so anything like that will work. Household items will absolutely work. So if you have something that you can maintain a secure grip on, you're not going to drop it and hurt yourself or break something or make a mess, and it doesn't feel heavy to you when you pick it up. You want weights that feel light to you when you pick them up. So as long as you can find something around the house that fits all of those criteria, then any number of household items will work for weight. But if you have absolutely nothing that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workouts, that's fine. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. But that's all I'm using today, okay? One exercise mat, any sort of exercise mat or yoga mat that you have access to, a jump rope if you have one, and if you want to include jump rope with your workout, and a set of light dumbbells if you want to add weight. And if you don't have dumbbells, then look for household items that will work. That's all you're going to need. So for the first 2 exercises, I'm not adding any weight. We're going to be down on the mat for 4 out of these 5 exercises. There are 5 exercises in this workout, plus jump rope if you're doing jump rope. So let me go ahead and walk you through how to do the first 5 exercises, and then I will explain the format, and that's going to be our first 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about the jump rope and the rest of it. All right, so the first exercise is going to be these side-to-side hip dips. So I'm going to come down onto my mat, and I'm going to start in an elbow plank. So I'm going to place my palms and my forearms down on the mat. So from here, I'm just going to step my feet back so that I'm in an elbow plank position. And from here, all I'm going to do is drop my hips to one side, return to my starting position, and then drop the hips to the other side, tap them down, and return to my starting position. That's it. That's the first exercise. It's more difficult than it looks. So if you would prefer, you could do something like transformers, coming from your elbow plank up to a high plank. Also a pretty challenging exercise, but it requires a different skill set. So if that works better for you, that's fine. Really, you'll see that you can kind of substitute with any kind of plank or elbow plank exercise. So you could do like knee tucks, something like this might work better for you, okay? Basically, any exercise where you're done in a plank position, you could plug into this format and it will work the same, okay? But I'm going to be doing my side-to-side hip dips. So just make sure that whatever plank exercise you choose, that you're minding your form in your plank. So make sure you keep your abs super strong and tight and engaged. You want a flat back, so make sure that you are not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. That's causing an arch in my back. What you want to do instead is really tighten up those abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. All right, so that your back is flat. You don't want to allow your back to arch like this, okay? So that's going to apply to any plank exercise you choose. So choose any plank exercise you want, and that's your first exercise. It can be elbow plank, or you can choose something from a high plank position, okay? Whatever's going to work for you. The second exercise is going to be push-ups. So any kind of push-up variation you want to do will work. Just make sure with your push-ups that you are minding your form. So again, you want to start by finding that perfect plank position. So just like with our elbow plank, we wanted a flat back. We want to avoid this arch in the back. Same thing applies to your high plank. So you want to start by placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back so that you're in a plank position, making sure that you're not allowing your back to arch. You want a flat back. So make sure that you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. Tighten up your abs, lift your hips high, and keep them high. You want to also make sure that you're not sinking into your shoulders like this, all right? What you want to do to correct that is, first of all, really spread out all 10 fingers as wide as you can. And then what you're going to do is push the ground away from you. So if you find that you're kind of sinking into your shoulders, I want you to actively imagine that you're trying to press the ground away from you. And now do you see how instead of being hunched up like this, my shoulders are now away from my ears? All right, and the other thing I want you to pay attention to is your head. Your head should be perfectly up and down in line with your spine. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against the wall and just lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall, that's where you want your head to be. That's where you want your head to stay. So you want to find that nice alignment where your head is perfectly in line with your spine, and then you want to make sure your head stays exactly still. It's a very common mistake that people will kind of bob their head up and down as they're doing their push-ups. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it. My theory is that the goal is to get all the way down with your push-up, right? You're starting up here in your plank position, you're bending your elbows, you're lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can, but a lot of people will lack the core strength or the upper body strength to get their chest all the way down to the mat. And so it's very common to want to compensate for that. And the first way a lot of people compensate for that, if they can't get their chest all the way down to the mat, they'll lower their hips or their belly down to the mat. But remember, we don't want to do that because that is causing my back to arch. We want to keep our hips lifted high. We want to keep our back flat the entire time. And then the other really common mistake that people make when they can't get their chest all the way down to the mat is that they will compensate by lowering their forehead down to the mat. The goal, once you've found that beautiful plank position, is to keep your body in one perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders. And really, it's from your heels all the way to the crown of your head, because your head is in line with your spine and you want everything to stay still. So you're bending your elbows, you're lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can, but without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So what a lot of people will do, and I think a lot of times they're doing it without realizing it, because you know you want to get all the way down, so you're trying, and you can't get your chest all the way down without breaking that straight line. So the temptation for a lot of people is to lower their forehead down to the mat. And if you watch people doing push-ups, a lot of times you'll see their head kind of bobbing up and down. But remember, you want your head in line with your spine, and then you want your head to stay perfectly still. Once you've found that high plank position, nothing moves. So you should be thinking about your body as though it is a literal plank of wood, like a 2x4, okay? So you're lowering the 2x4 down, you're pushing it up, but from here to here, nothing should move. All right, so I do think that it is a good idea to record yourself doing a few reps, because a lot of times people are making these mistakes without realizing it. And if you can see what you look like, then you'll be able to see what mistakes you're making, if any, and then you'll know how to correct them. All right, so just remember these bullet points. Head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, abs super strong and tight and engaged. Push the hips up high, keep them high, flat back, all right? Head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. That's going to apply to any push-up variation you choose to do. And if you are doing knee push-ups, it is the exact same exercise. Literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line going from your heels to your shoulders, your straight line is going from your knees to your shoulders. Other than that, everything is exactly the same. So you're going to begin by spreading out all 10 fingers as wide as you can. You're going to place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. And how do you know where to put your knees down? Well, if you can get yourself up into a plank position first, that's helpful, because from here, all you're going to do is bend your knees, and they're going to go right down on the mat exactly where they were, okay? So from here, I'm just bending my knees, and that's where I'm placing my knees on the mat. But basically, you want to end up with that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And then from here, everything's the same. So I'm checking off the same bullet points. My head is in line with my spine. I'm not allowing my head to drop down towards the mat like this. I'm not overcorrecting by hyperextending my neck and jutting my chin out. My head is in line with my spine, and then it's going to stay right there. My head's going to stay perfectly still. I'm not going to bob it up and down as I'm doing my push-ups. I'm not sinking into my shoulders like this. My fingers are spread out. I am pushing the ground away from me so that I'm up as high as I can get in this plank position, and my back is flat. I am not allowing my hips or my belly to droop down towards the mat, causing an arch in my back. My abs are tight. I'm lifting my hips high, and I'm going to keep them lifted high. And now that I have found this straight line from my knees to my shoulders, nothing's going to move. I'm going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close to the mat as I can without breaking that straight line from my knees to my shoulders. Then I'm going to press the mat away from me and push myself up to return to my starting position. Now, if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, meaning without arching your back to lower your hips or your belly down to the mat, or without lowering your forehead down to the mat, then that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. If you can only get your chest halfway down, that's fine. The important part is that you're maintaining that straight line either from your knees to your shoulders or from your heels to your shoulders. So if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then the solution is to simply shorten up your range of motion. Get your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line. And once you reach that point, just press the mat away from you and push yourself back up to return to your starting position, and that is your push-up. All right, so again, any push-up variation you want to do is absolutely fine. I am going to be doing a push-up plus a pike toe tap. So the push-up itself is going to be a standard push-up, but after each push-up, I'm going to do a pike toe tap. So I'm going to lift my hips up, and I'm going to reach across my body and tap my toes with the opposite hand. So it's going to look like this. From my plank position, I'm going to lift my hips up. The goal is to still maintain that flat back. I want a flat back the entire time. So I want my body to be in a V. I want my hips to lift up towards the ceiling, but I want my back to stay flat, and I want my legs to stay more or less straight. All right, so as I do that, push my hips up, keeping my back flat, and keeping my legs more or less straight. I'm going to pick up one hand, and I'm going to reach across my body and tap the toes on the opposite foot. Then I'm going to come back into my plank position, and that's one rep. I will switch sides for the pike toe tap with each rep. So each rep is going to consist of one push-up and one pike toe tap. So now I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to pick up the opposite hand, and as I lift my hips, I'm going to reach back with that hand and tap the toes on the opposite side, and then come back into my plank position. All right, so standard push-up, pike toe tap, alternating sides for the pike toe tap with each rep, and that is my second exercise. So let's put a couple reps together. Push-up, pike toe tap. Push-up, pike toe tap on the other side. Okay, so again, any push-up variation you want to do is fine, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Exercise number 3. So we're still going to be down here on the mat. We're going to do abs. So I'm going to flip over, and for these final 3 exercises is where I'm going to add weight. All right, so I'll show you the weighted version of the exercise first, which is what I'm doing, but then I will show you an equipment-free substitution if you do not want to add weight to this exercise. So I'm going to be doing V-ups, and then I'm going to be adding a fly. So I'm going to begin by holding my dumbbells together like this in front of me. So again, for reference, and for reference only, these are 5 pounds a piece. So if you're wondering how much weight I'm holding a total of 10 pounds in front of me, 5 pounds in each hand, okay? You make the decision that is best for you. These 5-pound weights feel light to me. You choose a weight that feels light to you, all right? So I'm going to start by holding my weights in front of my chest like this. I'm gonna come all the way down on my mat. I'm extending my legs out straight. And now what I'm going to do is a V up. So I'm going to bring my legs up and my torso up, again, kind of like a V. So our pike toe tap, we were in kind of an upside down V or an inverted V. And this, we're gonna look like an actual letter V, okay? My booty's down here, that's the little point of the V, and I'm going to lift my legs straight up, lift my torso up, keeping my back more or less straight as I can, so that my body's in kind of a V shape, all right? And then from here, before I return to my starting position, I'm gonna add a little fly. So all that means is that I'm going to let the weights fall down to the side, and then I'm going to bring them back up in front of me before I return back down to my starting position, lowering the legs and lowering my torso, all right? So V up, fly, and return to the starting position. Lift, fly, lower. All right, that's it. So if you want to do it without weight, just do it without holding on to any weight, okay? You can do your, like just regular pikes if you want and eliminate the fly. If you do want to add that fly, even though you're not holding on to any weight, it still adds difficulty. So you can absolutely do the exact same exercise. Just kind of opening your hands to the side. So here my palms are facing the ceiling, and then kind of bring them back together, palms facing each other. It still adds difficulty even without weight. So you can do that if you want, or you can just do pikes, or what most people call jackknives, starting with your arms extended overhead, and again, keeping your legs and arms more or less straight. You're going to do your best to lift your arms and legs at the same time, and lower them at the same time. It is pretty challenging, so if you want, you can lift your legs first, and then lift your torso, then lower the torso, lower the legs. So it's a similar exercise, but it makes it quite a bit easier. So legs, toe touch, and then lower the legs. You could also keep your legs elevated the entire time and just do toe touches. That's fine. Really, any ab exercise you want to do will work. So there's a couple of suggestions for how to do the exercise without weight. You can have your knees bent if you want, instead of having your legs straight. There are obviously endless ways to modify this, countless ab exercises. So just pick one that works for you with or without weight. But again, I am going to be doing this. I guess it would be maybe like a V up. I'm calling it like a weighted jackknife kind of, but I'm gonna sit up, pause, fly, and then lower. Just make sure that every aspect of the movement is under control, so you're not just letting the weights fall down, you're lowering them with control, all right? And you're controlling the movement on the way up. And the same thing with your legs. You're not just letting your legs fall down, you are controlling the movement. You're lowering your legs, really engaging those lower abs as you lower your legs down with control. All right, so just make sure that whatever ab exercise you choose, whether or not you add weight, that every aspect of the movement is under control and you're really focusing on engaging those ab muscles. All right, but that is exercise number 3. So 2 more to go. Exercise number 4 is going to be glute bridge raises, and I will show you what I'm doing, and then again, I'll show you a couple of equipment-free substitutions in case you do not want to add weight. But again, I have my light set of weights here, and I'm starting with my weights, holding them together in front of my chest, again, the same way we did for our ab exercise. But for this exercise, I'm bending my legs, my feet are flat on the mat, and from here, I'm going to press my heels into the mat so that I am pressing the ground away from me as I lift my hips as high as I can. All right, so you really want to focus on, first of all, pressing the ground away with your heels and lifting your hips up high as you can, and really squeezing your glutes at the top of the movement. And then again, on the way down, I'm going to lower my hips with control. You don't have to go this slowly. I'm just showing you how much under control the movement needs to be, as opposed to just letting your hips drop down. All right, so make sure every aspect of the movement is under control. Now, if you want to just stay there, you can stay there. That's absolutely fine. You can just do glute bridge raises. Great exercise, all on its own. If you want to make it a little more dynamic, you can alternate heel toe, meaning that you can lift your toes up off the mat, pressing only the bottom of your heel into the mat. And then you can alternate with each rep if you want. You can stay here if you want and just keep your toes elevated the whole time. Or you can alternate. I do this exercise frequently. So then with the next rep, I would lift my heels off the mat, pressing the balls of my feet into the mat as I lift my hips and bring myself up into my bridge pose. So just alternating heel and toe with each rep, just to make it a little more dynamic. That's an option. Or you can keep your feet flat on the mat, that's fine. Again, any bridge variation, any type of variation on glute bridge raises you want to do is absolutely fine. Now I'm adding weight to this. If you want to add weight in a more straightforward, like a simpler way, frequently when I add weight to this exercise, I just have the weights here resting on my hips. All right, just so that as I lift my hips, I'm having to lift my own body weight plus this extra 10 pounds. So that's an option. I have my hands on the ends of the dumbbell, but it's just to keep the dumbbells from rolling around or falling off of me. They're just there to keep the dumbbells in place. You want to make sure that you're not using your upper body, you're not using your arms to bear any of this weight. the point is to have the entire weight on your hips so that you're making your glutes do the work of lifting the extra weight. All right, but it's the same exercise with the added weight on your hips. Just have your hands lightly on the ends of the dumbbells to keep them secure so they don't roll off of you. But you can do it with your feet flat. You can do it with your toes elevated. You can do it with your heels elevated. You can switch back and forth between the two, all right? So that's one option if you want to add weight, but you don't want to do it the way I'm doing. But this is what I'm doing. So again, I have my weights together in front of me like this. I'm going to have my feet flat on the mat, and as I press my hips towards the ceiling, press my heels into the mat, push the mat away from me, and lift my hips up towards the ceiling, I'm going to reach up and across my body and tap one dumbbell to the ground. And then as I reverse the movement, lowering my hips, I'll bring the dumbbell back in front of me, return to my starting position. Alternating sides. So now I'll take the other dumbbell, and as I press my hips up, I'm going to reach across, and as soon as I get my hips up as high as they can go, and I'm squeezing those glutes, I'm also reaching as far as I can with this arm and tapping the dumbbell to the ground. And then return to the starting position. All right? So lift the hips and reach, tap the dumbbell, come back, other side. Lift the hips, reach across, tap the dumbbell, return to the starting position. All right, so that's what I'm doing. If you want to do something similar, but you maybe lack shoulder mobility, you can just press the weights straight up overhead, all right? Or you can do a chest press. You can have your arms to the side and press them up like this. Okay, lots of options, lots of different ways to add weight to this exercise, and also lots of options if you don't want to add weight. All right, so choose whatever version works for you, but that is exercise number 4. And finally, exercise number 5 is going to be goblet squats. So let's begin by just going over the proper form for any squat variation you want to do. Because again, any squat variation you want to do here is fine, it will work. So just remember when you're doing squats, flat back, weight in the heels. Okay, you want to make sure your back stays flat and you want to keep your weight in your heels so that your knees are not tracking over your toes. So step 1, before you squat, the first thing you want to do is visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. And what that means is that you're going to kind of feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together behind you. And then you want to just think about letting your shoulder blades kind of just slide down your back so that you're trying to tuck them into your back pockets so that your shoulders are not up here by your ears, they're down here and they're back, okay? So shoulders are back and down. And then the next thing you want to think about is, again, tightening up your abs. So it's like someone is about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can. You're bracing for that impact. So really tighten up your abs as tight as you can. And then the last thing I want you to think about before actually squatting, because if you think of your squat as just kind of going straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up over your toes, and that's really not the movement. That's not what we're doing. So instead, I want you to think about hinging at the hips. So if you imagine that you are trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, and at the same time, keeping that chest lifted nice and high. Remember, our shoulders are back and down, our chest is lifted really high. Maintain that sensation of your chest being lifted the entire time so that you're gonna tighten up your abs, push the booty back, and at the same time that you're thinking about trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you're also thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. The point is that you want your spine nice and elongated so that your back stays flat. You want to avoid a rounded back. All right, so shoulders back and down, push the booty back. All right, try to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, try to touch the wall behind you with your booty, and now you can see that we went from here to here. my weight is over my heels now entirely. My knees are no longer out in front of my toes. My weight is 100% in my heels. I can actually pick up my toes. All right, and then from here is where you can sink down into your squat. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. If you're not there yet, you're not there yet. Don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, but that's a goal, okay? As long as your back is flat and you're keeping the weight in your heels, that's what's important. But do your best to see if you can get your thighs parallel to the ground. Just make sure you're working to your own level, okay? Please don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. And then to stand, again, you're just going to visualize pressing the ground away from you with your heels. So all of your weight is in your heels. You're going to press your heels into the ground, push the ground away from you to stand. All right, so let's put it all together. Shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. Push the booty back, and then keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels, you're gonna sink down into your squat, then press your heels into the ground to stand. That is just a basic air squat, and you can stay right here if you want. That's absolutely fine. And again, if you want to add something to it, you can do any squat variation you want. There are a million different squat variations and any one of them will work. So pick whatever works for you. If you want to add weight to your squats, there are many different ways to add weight to your squats. If you want to do what I'm doing a goblet squat. So all I'm going to do is, again, hold my weights together in front of me like this, and that's it. All right, I'm gonna have my feet a little bit wider apart than shoulder width for the goblet squat, and I have my toes pointed out slightly at about a 45-degree angle. So they're not facing you exactly straight on, and they're not facing the walls to the side of me. I'm kind of splitting the difference so that my toes are pointed out at about a 45-degree angle. But from there, everything is the same, shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, I'm holding my weights in front of me, my abs are super strong and tight and engaged. I'm gonna push my booty back, like I'm trying to touch that gate behind me with my booty as I sink down into my squat, and then I'm going to press my heels into the ground to stand, and that's it. Okay, so it's basically just an air squat while holding the dumbbells in front of me like this. All right, so if you do not have dumbbells, again, look for household items that will work. But if you have a kettlebell, for this exercise, I think it's fine to go for a little bit heavier weight. For the ab exercise and the glute bridge exercise, I definitely would prefer that you not use heavy weights for those two exercises. But for this exercise, I think it would be fine to use a heavier weight. Just make sure it's not too heavy for you. All right, you have to make the decision that's best for you. So please be smart, be safe, listen to your body, make sure that you are working to your own level, and please don't push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do. But if you have like a heavier kettlebell or even a medicine ball or a sandbag, or if you want to grab a heavier household item. So for example, for the previous two exercises, if you were using shampoo bottles or water bottles, but they're really light, they only weigh like a pound or two a piece. And for this, you want something a bit heavier. You could use a jug of laundry detergent. You could use like a gallon milk container or like an old, gallon bleach container or something like that. You could fill a container like that with water, or again, you could fill it with something like uncooked rice or dried beans or kitty litter or powdered laundry detergent or something like that, okay? So get creative and use what you've got. If you don't want to add weight, that's fine, you don't have to. Any squat variation you want to do is fine, with or without weight is fine. But I'm doing goblet squats, so for this exercise, if you want to go with something a little bit heavier, maybe a jug of laundry detergent or something like that will work. Or if you have a heavier weight like a kettlebell or a medicine ball or something like that, that would work for this as well, or a sandbag or a homemade sandbag. All right, lots of options if you want to add weight. But that's it, that's all 5 exercises. Now, I lied a little bit. There's kind of 10 exercises, but not really. So let's go back to the beginning, because first I'll let you know the format. So this part 1 is going to take exactly 5 minutes. So if you just want a 5-minute workout today, you're just gonna do part 1 and that's it, okay? It'll take 5 minutes, 1 minute per exercise. But we're going to do 30 minutes of the exercises the way I just showed you. With each 1 minute, we're going to spend the first 30 seconds doing the exercises the way I showed you, and then with the final 30 seconds, we're going to stay on the same exercise, but we're going to do just an isometric hold. Okay, so you'll see what I mean when I demonstrate. So let's take it back to the top. Our first exercise was those side-to-side hip dips. So we were starting here in an elbow plank, and then we were just dipping the hips to one side, dipping them to the other side, okay? That's the exercise. So we're going to do that for 30 seconds. There are no rest breaks in this workout. So as soon as the timer beeps to let me know that my 30 seconds is up, I'm going to stop moving, and I'm going to move into the isometric hold portion of this exercise. So all that means is that I'm going to stop dipping my hips from side to side, and with the final 30 seconds of that first 1 minute of the workout, I'm just going to hold my elbow plank. All right, I'm just gonna hold this position for 30 seconds, and that's it. All right, so then the next exercise was push-ups. So I'm going to do my push-up plus a plank toe tap. You do whatever push-up variation you're doing for 30 seconds, and then with the next 30 seconds, I'm going to stop doing push-ups, and instead, I'm just going to come up into a down dog. And I'm just going to hold here for the final 30 seconds. Okay, so with your down dog, if it's too difficult to hold down dog, you can just, instead of holding the down dog, you can hold here in your high plank. That's fine. I actually think down dog is easier to do for 30 seconds, but everyone's different. So with your down dog, the important thing to remember is that you're pressing the mat away from you. You want to press your hips up as high as you can and also back, okay? The important thing again is that your back is flat. So you're trying to avoid having a rounded back. Now ideally, you want your legs straight, but if you can only straighten your legs at the expense of your flat back, then don't worry about having your legs straight. This pose is not about having your heels down. It's not about having straight legs. It's about pushing your hips up and back and keeping your back flat, okay? So make sure you're not rounding your back. You want to really press the mat away from you. Press those hips up and press them back. So if you need to have your heels elevated, that's fine. If you need to have your knees bent, that's fine. The important thing is that you're pressing those hips up and back and your back is flat. Now, if you are able to straighten your legs, great. If you are able to get your heels down on the ground, great, go for it. Just make sure that you're not rounding your back to get there, okay? Make sure that your back is flat. That's your #1 priority. And if you don't feel comfortable doing down dog, just hold your high plank. That's fine. But that's the second exercise. Third exercise was abs. So I was doing my, I don't know what I'm calling this, weighted V-up with a fly. All right, so I'm going to do that for 30 seconds. So I'm going to do my V-up with a fly for 30 seconds. With the next 30 seconds, I'm just gonna bring my torso up, bring my legs up, and hold in this kind of modified boat position. All right, you can have your knees bent here if that's easier for you, that's fine. You can extend your arms out to increase the difficulty, that's fine as well. I might do that. I don't know, I'll probably just keep them here. All right, but any kind of boat pose you wanna do will work. But that's the isometric part. So with each of these exercises, we're going to do them the way I showed you for 30 seconds. And then with the next 30 seconds, we're going to hold. We're going to isolate one portion, like a snapshot of that exercise and hold there, okay? So what's next? Oh, next was our glute bridge raises. So again, we're going to do 30 seconds of whatever variation of whatever, glute bridge raise exercise you're doing. And then with the next 30 seconds, I'm just going to lift my hips and hold. And I'll probably place my weights on my hips as I do this part, okay? So for me, I'm going to do my first 30 seconds, adding this overhead reach, working on that shoulder mobility, and then I'm gonna do that for 30 seconds, and then as soon as my timer beeps, I'll put my weights down on my hips, just lightly place my fingers on the ends just to hold them in place so they don't fall off, and then I'm gonna come up into my glute bridge raise and just hold for 30 seconds. All right, and then the final exercise is squats. So there's no rest interval. As soon as my 30-second bridge hold is up, I'm going to very quickly, as quickly as I can, stand and start with my squats. This is our final exercise. So I'm going to do goblet squats for 30 seconds, and then with the final 30-second interval, I'm just going to squat and hold right here. All right, and that's it. That's our first 5 minutes. So if you selected this workout off of my playlist of 5-minute workouts, because you just want to do a 5-minute workout today, that's all you're going to do, okay? You're going to go through that circuit one time. You're going to spend 1 minute on each exercise. The first 30 seconds is going to be dynamic. The second 30 seconds is going to be static. And you're just going to do that for each of the 5 exercises. That's 5 minutes, and then you're done. If you chose this workout off of my playlist of 10-minute workouts, because you were specifically looking to do a 10-minute workout today, then you can do part 2 with me if you would like. Part 2 is just going to be 5 minutes of interval jump rope. But you could also repeat the circuit once more. And that would be another way to make this a 10-minute workout. And that would be a great workout. And really, you could just repeat that 3 times and make a 15-minute workout. You could do it 4 times and make a 20-minute workout. And I think just repeating that exact circuit that way 4 times in a row to do a 20-minute workout, I think that would absolutely work as a standalone workout. I think that would be a great workout. So you have options. So if you don't have a jump rope, that's one option. You can just repeat part 1 as many times as you want, okay? So if you want to just go through it once, that's a 5-minute workout. If you want to do it twice, that's 10. 3 times is 15 minutes. 4 times through the circuit is 20 minutes, all right? So that's one option. If you want to do more, something more similar to what I'm doing, so I'm going to do that 5 minutes that I just showed you, and then I want to move on and add on a little bit of moderate paced cardio. So that's why I'm going to be jumping rope. So I'm going to reset my timer for 10-second rest intervals, 20-second work intervals times 10 rounds. That's 5 minutes. So 10 seconds of rest and then 20 minutes to complete as many revolutions of the jump rope as I can. I'll do that 10 times. That's my 5 minutes of moderate paced cardio. And then all I'm going to do, so that'll be 10 minutes. So if you want to do a 10-minute workout, you can do part 1 and part 2 with me and then stop. Or you can do part 1 twice. That works as well. All right, but I'm going to then repeat all of that again for a 20-minute workout. If you want a 15-minute workout, again, you can do part 1 3 times in a row, that's 15 minutes. You can do part 1 and then part 2 with me, and then you can do part 1 again and call it a day. That's another great 15-minute workout that will totally work. Or you can start with jump rope. You can do 5 minutes of jump rope and then the circuit and then another 5 minutes of jump rope to finish up. Okay, so you can kind of, every section is 5 minutes long. There's only 2 sections. All 2 sections are 5 minutes long. So you can just kind of mix and match whatever's going to work for you, okay? But if you don't have a jump rope, but you still want to incorporate some moderate paced cardio, first of all, you can just pantomime jumping rope. They actually sell jump ropes without the rope, like ropeless jump ropes. It's literally just like 2 jump rope handles with nothing in between that you hold on to while you pretend to jump rope. All right, so you can invest in one of those. I think that would be a fine investment. If you plan on following my workouts regularly, you will get a ton of use out of something like that because I jump rope a lot in my workouts. But if you don't want to spend the money on something like that, I think that is absolutely fine. I think if you are already jumping over an imaginary rope, you can probably just hold on to imaginary handles while you do that. So you can just pretend to be holding onto handles, and you can pretend to be jumping over a rope and literally just pantomime jumping rope. That is absolutely fine. If you don't want to do that, you can just jog in place, or you can do high knees or jumping jacks or mountain climbers or side jump lunges, pendulum. Literally any cardio exercise you want to do is fine for those 20-second work intervals where I'm jumping rope. And you don't have to stick with the same cardio exercise. You can make yourself a little circuit and do a little 5-minute cardio circuit. If you have access to an exercise bike or a treadmill or an elliptical or Stairmaster, anything like that, my jump rope sections are going to be exactly 5 minutes long. So you could hop on one of those for 5 minutes for your cardio section. That would work. You could do up and down the stairs for 5 minutes. So if you have stairs in your home or apartment complex, you can do that. If you would like to take this workout to the beach or the hiking trail or a park close by that has steps, you could do up and down the steps there. Or if you have access to the field at your local high school, you could do up and down the bleachers. You could also jog around the track for 5 minutes. So for some people, 5 minutes may be once or twice around the track. If you're super fast, maybe you can run a mile, four laps around the track in 5 minutes. If that's you, I'm jealous. I could never, but that's another possibility. So anywhere from like 1 to 4 laps around the track. Or you could jog around your neighborhood, that's fine. But basically 5 minutes of moderate paced cardio. Any way you want to get it done is fine. And if you don't want to incorporate cardio, or if you just can't think of anything that's going to work for you, just repeat part 1. Okay, so those are your options. Hopefully that is all clear. Just remember, one other thing is that when I jump rope, I always just kind of jog in place like this. But you don't have to do it the way I do it, okay? If you're more comfortable jumping with your feet together, jump with your feet together. It doesn't matter. Any jump rope variation you want to do is fine, okay? With or without an actual rope, okay? So just do what works for you. But remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you, so watch me do it. Read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how everything fits together, I know I just kind of threw a lot at you. I threw a lot of different substitutions and modifications and possibilities at you. I threw a lot of different formats at you, a lot of different ways that you can kind of mix and match the sections to make it your own. So if anything is unclear about the format and how everything fits together, or if you need help making adjustments to the format and kind of modifying it and customizing it to suit your needs, if you have questions about any of the specific exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, please just ask. It's really, really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And also, please, it's very important that you not only understand how to do the exercises correctly, but that you are applying that knowledge during the actual workout. So please make sure that you are minding your form throughout the entire workout. All right, and the same thing goes if you have questions about any of the modifications that I provided, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications. I'm right here to help. I'm always here to help, so please just ask. And just remember, one final reminder, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, so please make sure that you are going at your own pace. And again, make sure you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. If you are in good shape, it's very likely that you will be faster than I am. And if you are, that's great. Be faster than I am, as long as you are not losing anything off of your form to get there. If you are slower than I am, that's also great. If you're out here getting the work done, then it's great. It doesn't matter how fast or how slowly you go. What's important is that you're minding your form, okay? So if you find that you're racing through the exercises because you're just trying to go really fast for the sake of going fast, because you're trying to get as many reps done as you can, that's great. You want to get as many reps done as you can, but with good form. So if you're racing to go fast because you just want to get a good score, or because you're racing to keep up with me, just make sure that you're continuing to mind your form. If you start going too fast and your form is getting sloppy, that means you need to slow down, all right? So please just make sure that you are working to your own level. Please be smart, be safe, listen to your body. Do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do, and make sure that you are minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. I think that's it. Hopefully I have covered everything. So if you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, remember that you are going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So if you have an exercise mat or a yoga mat, you will definitely want to get that ready. If you are adding weight, grab a set of light dumbbells or household items, shampoo bottles or water bottles filled with some sort of weight. If you do not want to add weight to the workout, you have your equipment-free substitutions. And if you would like to jump rope with me, go ahead and grab your jump rope, and then you can pause the video, go get dressed, and then meet me right back here. We're going to do a quick 5-minute warm up together, and then we'll go ahead and get into the workout. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our quick 5-minute warm up. So you're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure that your arm is completely relaxed, and make sure your shoulders are completely relaxed. You're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and allowing gravity to do all the work, switching sides. So allow your head to fall towards the other shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Gravity's doing all the work of just gently stretching the opposite side of your neck. And now we're going to do some neck rolls. So you're going to let go with your hand and begin by just allowing your chin to fall towards your chest, and then to the other shoulder and back. Rolling the head back and forth, and each time you roll your head back and forth, just feel your head getting heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll, and you're just increasing your range of motion, allowing your entire torso to fall down in front of you. Now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So just rolling your shoulders to the back. Big, big, big circles. Really exaggerate the movement. Make the circles as big as you can. Next, we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you're going to begin by extending your arms out to the side and just making small little circles with your arms. But little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you're exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you possibly can. Now step your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, and you're going to bend your knees slightly, sweep your hands in front of you, and then as you straighten the legs, reach up as high as you can towards the ceiling. And each time you bend your knees, you're going to start expanding your range of motion a little bit at a time, bending those knees deeper and deeper. Now keep the feet planted right where they are. We're just going to do some lunges back and forth, nice and easy, adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching your arm across your body, loosening up those shoulders. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now you're going to step your feet in and march. Knees are low to start, but gradually, as the interval progresses, you can start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes, and now a nice light jog. Same thing, starting with the knees low, and then little by little start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Next is booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you may need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're going to pick up one foot and just swing the leg. Swing it in front, swing it behind you. Nice and loose. We're going to switch sides. So you're going to put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and just start swinging the leg. Swing it in front of you, swing it behind you. You can start low, and then you can gradually start kicking the leg higher and higher. Now you're going to put this foot down, shift your weight again. You're going to take the other foot, extend the leg out in front of you, and then start drawing little semicircles, bringing the leg around and behind you. And each time you draw your semicircle, you're lifting the leg higher and higher until finally you're going to drive that knee up in front of you and kind of guide it around with your hand. Other side. So starting with the leg low and straight, lifting the leg higher and higher with each semicircle, and then finally drive the knee up in front of you and guide it around with your hand for a hip circle. Okay, last but not least is our hamstring stretch. So for this, it might make it a bit more comfortable if you lean on a chair or if you use the wall like I am to get into the stretch. The point is that you want to try to keep your back flat. If you allow your back to round during this stretch, it's fine. You're not going to hurt yourself doing that, but you'll find that if you can keep your back flat while getting into this stretch, you're going to instantly feel that stretch intensify as you isolate those hamstrings. So our 5 minutes is up. I just always like to spend a few extra seconds in this hamstring stretch because the backs of my legs tend to be really tight, and I want to make sure that I am nice and loose and ready to go, especially since we're going to be doing those pike toe taps and spending time in our downward facing dog in today's workout. I really want to make sure that my hamstrings are up for it. But that's it. That's our 5-minute warm up. All right, so my timer is set for one 30-second interval times 10 rounds. That's 5 minutes. Remember, we are spending a total of 1 minute on each of our 5 exercises, but the first 30 seconds is going to be dynamic, and for the second 30 seconds of each exercise, we are going to be focusing on isometric training. No rest intervals, so you're going to have to move from one exercise to the next as quickly as you can. So please just remember to go at your own pace. Mind your form, don't sacrifice your form for speed, and do your best. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. We are starting in an elbow plank position. We're starting with our side to side hip dips for 30 seconds. And then with our next 30-second interval, we're going to hold our elbow plank position. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So coming up to your elbow plank, and then you're just gonna dip the hip to the side, alternating sides with each hip dip. And you're just gonna do this for 30 seconds. As many reps as you can in 30 seconds without sacrificing your form. So remember to keep your hips lifted high and keep your abs super strong and tight and engaged as we hold for this next 30-second interval. We're holding our elbow plank position. So make sure you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. It's causing an arch in your back. You want to keep your hips lifted high, keep your abs tight, keep your back flat. With our next 30-second interval, we're doing a push-up plus a pike toe tap, alternating sides for the pike toe tap with each rep. So push up, then lift the hips, reach the hand back, and tap the toes on the opposite side. Alternating sides with each rep for that toe tap. We're here for 30 seconds. And now with our next 30 seconds, we're just gonna come up and hold our downward facing dog pose. So push those hips up and back. Keep your back flat. Don't worry about getting your heels down. Don't worry about straightening your legs. The important thing is that you're pushing your hips up and back, keeping your back flat. Next is abs. No rest interval, so as quickly as you can, V up and fly. So lift the legs, open the arms to the side, bring the weights back together in front of your chest, and lower yourself back down with control. Now with our next 30-second interval, we're just gonna hold this kind of boat pose. You can keep your legs straight if you want, or you can bend your knees, whatever works for you. You can extend your arms out in front and hold here if you want to increase the difficulty. Next is our glute bridge raises. So lift the hips, and then if you're adding the arms with me, with each bridge raise, I'm reaching that arm up and across, twisting my body thoracically, working on the shoulder mobility, lightly tapping the weight down at the top of the movement, and then bringing it back with control. Now I'm gonna put the weights on my hips. This is the isometric portion of this work interval. So I'm just lifting my hips up as high as I can, squeezing those glutes at the top and holding here. I'm not using any of my upper body strength to help me with the weights. I'm just using my fingers to hold them in place so they don't roll off of me. Now quickly, no rest interval, so as quickly as you can, you're gonna get up for squats. So I'm doing goblet squats, holding my weights together in front of me as I sink down into my squat. We're here for 30 seconds. Make sure you're pushing your booty back, keeping your back flat, and keeping the weight in your heels as you sink down into that squat. And now this is our final 30-second interval. So we're just gonna hold right here. Breathe, drop the weights if you need to, that's fine. Make sure you're not rounding your back is flat, the weight is in your heels, you should be able to pick up your toes. Breathe with me, we're almost there. And that's it. That's our 5 minutes. If that's all you're doing today, just want to do a quick 5-minute workout for your 5-minute Friday, then you're done, okay? Well, almost done. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So this is just for those of you who are not moving on. You're just doing a 5-minute workout today. This is my bonus burpee in solidarity with you. So when you are ready, here we go. This is your final rep of the day. All right, so with that, your 5-minute workout is now complete. If you are continuing on with me, I'm going to move directly on to part 2, which is 5 minutes of moderate paced cardio. So I'm doing interval jump rope. I'm resetting my timer for 2 intervals. The first interval is a 10-second rest interval. The second interval is my 20-second work interval. So I'm going to rest for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to complete as many revolutions with my jump rope as I can in 20 seconds. And I'm going to do that for 10 rounds. That's 5 minutes. So if you don't have a jump rope, you can be doing any type of moderate paced cardio you want. If you want to be on intervals with me while I'm jumping rope, you can be jogging in place or doing high knees or jumping jacks or mountain climbers or something like that. If you prefer something else, again, you can do up and down the stairs for 10 minutes. If you have an exercise bike or a treadmill, something like that, you can hop on one of those for 5 minutes. Basically 5 minutes, I might have just said 10 minutes, but 5 minutes of any kind of moderate paced cardio you want to do is fine. So if you need to pause the video and rest, go ahead and take a quick rest break, towel off, get some water, and as soon as you're ready, come back. We're gonna go ahead and start on part 2. Remember that if you don't wanna do cardio, but you wanna keep going, you can just be repeating part 1, okay? You can do part 1 twice in a row, you can do it 3 times, 4 times, as many times as you want. But I'm going to be mixing in moderate paced cardio. So I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. This is our 10-second rest interval, just so we have a few seconds to get ready and we don't lose anything off of our first work interval. And now we're going to jump rope for 20 seconds. Any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. I always just kind of jog in place like this while I'm jumping rope. It's just what's most comfortable for me. But if you're more comfortable jumping with your feet together, that's fine. Jump with your feet together. If you're really good at jump rope and you want to do something more difficult, that's great. Good for you. You can do high knees or jump rope jacks. You can do twist jumps. You can jump side to side. You can jump on one leg. It doesn't matter. Again, the point is just to get 5 minutes of some type of moderate paced cardio. So however you want to get that done is fine. 10-second rest break. And now 20 seconds to complete as many revolutions of the rope as you can. I know it's frustrating when you trip. It's only normal to get frustrated since that's specifically the exact opposite of the thing you're trying to do. You're trying to jump over the rope. So when you trip, you're failing at that goal. Only normal and natural and perfectly valid to feel frustrated if you trip over your jump rope. So you don't have to like stifle it or pretend that you're not getting frustrated, but you do want to do your best to just take a breath and get right back into it as quickly as you can. best to just move forward. Leave it behind you. Because if you allow that frustration to dictate your mindset moving forward, nothing good can come of it. You're just going to sabotage the rest of your workout. Because if you allow yourself to kind of wallow in that negative mindset, you're actually increasing the likelihood that you're going to find yourself tripping more and more. Because you're splitting your focus and you're dwelling on the mistake instead of focusing on the good that you're doing. Even if you're tripping over your jump rope, you're still out here getting the reps done. You're putting in the work. You're getting your heart rate up. So do your best to just focus on that. This is our final work interval. So let's push. At the end of this interval, my timer is going to do that long series of beeps to let me know that time is up. So as soon as the beeping starts, right there, okay? So that's it. That's the end of the interval. You can stop. I always just like to keep going until the beeping stops. So it's like an extra 15, 20 seconds or so. But it's something that I always like to do when I'm doing interval jump rope. And I do it for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because I'm always assuming that there were at least a few intervals that I tripped over my jump rope. So those extra 15 or 20 seconds in my mind kind of makes up for the time I lost off of my work interval while I might have been tripping over my jump rope. But even if I didn't trip over my jump rope at all, I just like to finish strong. It's my version of kind of sprinting through the finish line. You know, when you're running a race and you feel like you have nothing left in the tank, but then you see that finish line and you dig deep and you pick up the pace and run as hard as you can through the finish line. That's just kind of my version of sprinting through the finish line when I'm doing interval jump rope. So that's the reason for it. You don't have to keep going with me. As soon as the beeping starts, that means time is up and you can stop jumping rope, but I just like to finish strong. So if you chose this workout off of my playlist of 10-minute workouts because you just wanted to do a 10-minute workout today, then you are done. So I will go ahead and do a bonus burpee in solidarity with you, even though I'm continuing on. So if you're continuing on with me, you can do a bonus burpee in solidarity with me, or you can just take another minute to rest while I do a bonus burpee. If you are continuing on with me, we're going to repeat part 1. So I'm going to reset my timer again. 1 30-second interval times 10 rounds. Now I've already talked you through the whole thing once. and I'm pretty winded. So this time through, I'm not really gonna talk very much, if at all. It's okay, Coda. Poor puppy, what happened? Baby. All right, so if you are ready to continue, I'm gonna go ahead and start part 3, which is just a repeat of part 1. So again, if you need a longer rest break than what I have taken, pause the video, towel off, get a sip of water, and when you are ready, come back. Let's go ahead and repeat part 1. So we're starting with our elbow plank, side to side, hip dips. No rest interval for this portion of the workout. So as soon as I start my timer, you should be ready to start dipping those hips side to side. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So elbow plank, dip the hips. So now we're holding for another 15 seconds. Then it's right into push-ups, whatever push-up variation you're doing. Quickly as you can. After our downward facing dog, we're moving on to abs as quickly as you can. No rest interval. So grab the weights if you're using weights. V up and fly. Exercise up as quick as you can for squats. tougher the second time through, and I wasn't even talking. My legs are jelly. It was a tough 5 minutes, you guys. So that was part 3. If you are continuing on with me, we have just one more part left. Another 5 minutes of moderate paced cardio. But if you chose this workout off of my playlist of 15-minute workouts because you specifically wanted to do a 15-minute workout today, then you are done. That was a phenomenal 15-minute workout. You have just 1 rep left to go. So if you are continuing on with me, you can use this time to rest, or if you want, you can do a bonus burpee with me in solidarity with those of us who are not continuing on. So if you are calling it a day right here, let's go ahead and do your bonus burpee together, and then your 15-minute workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. So if you are done, make sure you're taking a good 5 minutes or so to cool down. I will include my cool down in the video, so if you want to cool down with me, but you're not doing the final 5-minute section of the workout, you can use the chapter markers to skip ahead to the cool down. That's fine. If you are continuing along with me, making this a 20-minute workout, then all we have left to do is our final 5 minutes of moderate paced cardio. So for me, that's jump rope. Again, you can be doing any type of moderate paced cardio you want. So I just reset my timer again. So I'm back on 10-second rest intervals, 20-second work intervals times 10 rounds. And that's my 5 minutes. I'm just gonna take a couple more seconds, well, more than a couple, about another minute or so of a rest break to try to slow down my breathing a little bit, because I would rather wait until I have regained some strength and some stamina so that I can make this jump rope section as clean as I can. If I jump into it before I'm really ready, then it's gonna be really sloppy. I'm gonna be tripping a lot over my jump rope, and I feel like it's more productive for me at this point to pause and rest for an extra minute or two, to let my breathing normalize a little bit, let my heart rate come down a little bit, and to feel like I can, like I have regained a little bit of strength in my legs so that I actually can get my feet up and over the jump rope. For me, I feel like that's the most effective and the most efficient way to get this done. So remember, you should be going at your own pace, and that includes, I think I said paced, going at your own pace, and that includes your rest breaks, okay? So as always, if you need a longer rest break than what I'm taking, pause the video. I'm not going anywhere. Just come back when you're ready and we'll finish the workout together. If you are ready to move on and I'm still resting, just skip ahead, okay? It's fine. Use the chapter markers to skip ahead to the next part of the workout if you want to stay on track with me, but you don't need as long of a rest break as I'm taking, all right? So go at your own pace. My legs feel like jelly, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. It's just 5 minutes. With the level of fatigue I'm feeling, I'll probably be tripping over my jump rope a lot more than I did in part 2, but that's fine. I'm just going to do my best. Remember that your best is always good enough. So let your best be good enough. And remember, with that final work interval, when my timer does that long series of beeps, I'm going to do my best to keep skipping until the beeping stops, but you do not have to. You can stop jumping rope as soon as the beeping starts. That is up to you. All right, that's probably been like 5 minutes. So if I'm not ready by now, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be. So let's go ahead and get into this final 5 minutes. One more deep breath. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. This is our 10-second rest interval. And now here we go. We're gonna jump rope for 20 seconds. Do your best. yeah, that nearly killed me. But we are not quite finished yet. As I'm sure you know by now, no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpees. So we have just 1 rep left to go. But first, anytime I do a workout that includes jump rope, in addition to my bonus burpee, I also like to do a bonus set of 100 with my jump rope. So what I mean by a set of 100, I'm talking about revolutions of the jump rope. So I'm just going to count revolutions of the jump rope. I'm going to count to 100, and that's my little bonus set. This is completely optional. The bonus burpee is not. The bonus burpee is mandatory, but if you would like to do this little bonus set of jump rope with me, feel free, but it's completely optional. Again, any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. We're just counting 100 revolutions of the jump rope, and if you don't want to do this, you can just cheer me on. That's fine. Take a few seconds to rest, and then we'll do our bonus burpee together. But if you are joining me for this little bonus set of 100, let's get started as soon as you're ready. So you're just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 100. So that's our little bonus set of 100 with the jump rope, and now we have just 1 rep left to go. So let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's go ahead and do a quick little cool down together. It's really important that you get up and continue moving around a little bit. You want to kind of keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come down and while you allow your breathing to normalize a little bit. So just kind of pace around with me a little bit, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. We're gonna do a quick shoulder stretch. So after the plane, so I don't have to shout over it. So all you're going to do is just bring one arm across your body, and you're using the other arm to pull it close to your chest. Make sure that the arm that's stretching, your straight arm, is completely relaxed, and make sure your shoulders are completely relaxed. You want your shoulders down, away from your ears. If your shoulders are hunched up by your ears and this muscle's all tense and tightened up, you're not getting the benefit of the stretch, okay? In order for your muscle to be pliable enough that you can stretch it, it needs to be relaxed. So make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, and make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed and your other arm is doing all the work. Shake it out. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So bring the opposite arm across your body, bend the other elbow, and use your forearm to pull your straight arm in close to your chest, making sure your straight arm is completely relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, and you're really feeling that stretch in this shoulder. And while you're doing that, just kind of pace around, or you can do what I do and just kind of shift your weight side to side, and make sure you're focusing on your breath. Nice, long, deep, controlled breathing. Shake it out. We'll do a quick tricep stretch. So you're just going to bend one elbow, place your opposite hand on the elbow, and then just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. And as you do that, make sure that your free hand is completely relaxed. The fingers should be pointing straight down at the ground. So you don't want this free hand hanging out somewhere up here by your shoulder. Fingers should be pointing straight down at the ground. Arm is relaxed and just feeling that nice stretch in the triceps. Shake it out, and we'll get the other side. So bend the opposite elbow. Place the other hand on your elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. And as you do that, you're making sure that your free hand is completely relaxed. Fingers are pointing straight down to the ground. Shoulders are relaxed. And you're just feeling that stretch in your triceps here. All right, shake it out. Let's get the hamstrings real quick. So you may need to hold on to the wall or a chair or something for support. If you don't need to, that's fine, you don't have to. But all you're going to do is just bend one knee, bring the foot up behind you. You're going to reach back with both hands. Grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands and press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you're doing that, you want to make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward so that you intensify that stretch in your quad muscle, okay? So even if you don't normally struggle with balance, after a super tough, intense workout like that, for me it was intense, we'll get to that. But when you're fatigued, it's going to make it that much more challenging to balance, even if balance is not typically something that you struggle with. So if you're struggling to balance, again, just hold on to something for support, that's fine. Let's just get the quad on the other side. I'm gonna show you, when I do my other leg, I'll show you from the side so you can see what I'm talking about when I say to tilt your pelvis forward while you do this stretch. So shift your weight to the opposite foot. You're going to pick up your other foot. So bending the knee, bringing that foot behind you, reach back, and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Now you're pressing your heel into your booty cheek, but as you do that, you are tilting your pelvis forward. So that what I mean by that, you're kind of tucking your booty underneath you, sucking your belly button back, like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button, okay? So your booty is kind of coming, it's not like this, you're trying to get rid of this curve in your low back. You're tilting your pelvis forward, flattening out that low back, tucking your booty underneath you, sucking your belly button back towards your spine. And as you do that, you're continuing to press this heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine both of those aspects of pressing your heel into your booty cheek, really squeezing this ankle and pressing your heel into your booty cheek, and at the same time tilting that pelvis forward, you will instantly feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscle as you isolate that quad muscle. All right, so it's just going to help to make the stretch much more effective for you. And that's it. That's our little cool down. So once more, let's just shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms, get those shoulders, shake out the legs. And if you feel that your heart rate has not yet normalized, your heart rate is still elevated or you're still breathing kind of heavily, then just take a few more minutes to do a little bit longer of a cool down. You can just continue pacing around a little bit more, shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs. You can do a little more light stretching. Whatever you need to do is fine. The point is just that you want to keep moving until you feel that your breathing has normalized and your heart rate has returned to your normal or something close to your normal resting heart rate. But that's it. That's the workout. We are all finished. Of course, if you want to keep going, it is very easy to turn this into a 30-minute workout by just doing the whole thing one more time. So you can repeat our little circuit of 5 exercises once more, and then finish with 5 more minutes of moderate paced cardio for a 30-minute workout. So it's very easy to mix and match the different sections of this workout and make it as long or as short as you want to. But I'm gonna call it quits because that just about killed me. That really took a lot out of me today, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it's quite hot today, and I am definitely not acclimated to working out in the heat, and I'm sure that's part of it, but I am also still recovering from my last blood donation, and I probably should have eased back into things with a much less intense workout. I probably didn't need to include any upper body stuff or any cardio, but it's just what I felt like doing today. It was a struggle to get through, but I got through it. If you guys don't know, I am a regular blood donor, and it's something I'm very passionate about. So I just want to take a couple of minutes very quickly to talk about becoming a blood donor. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because really this couple of minutes I'm just going to spend telling you that I did go into a lot of detail of what it entails to become a blood donor in a previous workout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link that workout. It's a workout that I think was part of last year's slap challenge, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to link that workout up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I'll go ahead and link it at the very end of the video as well, just to make sure you can't miss it. So if you have ever been curious about becoming a blood donor, what I would really like you to do is click on that link. So you can click the little iCard up here. It's a little lowercase I with a circle around it. You can click on that, or you can scroll down and click the link that is in the description box down below the video, or if you're going to watch this video until the very end, that's amazing. It'll pop up on the screen at the very end and you can click on it there, okay? So if you have any trouble accessing the link, just let me know. But go ahead and click on the link. And then when you open that workout video, if you wanna watch the whole workout, great. You can do the workout with me, that's fantastic. But there are, again, timestamps in the description box down below that video, just like there are for this one. So one of the chapters is entitled Becoming a Blood Donor or something like that. So go ahead and just skip ahead to that part of the video because in that video I went into a lot of detail about what it requires, what the entire process from start to finish about becoming a blood donor, what the actual donation entails, what to expect. Again, I went into a ton of detail in that video, and I really think that I kind of answered any questions that you might have about becoming a blood donor. So I would strongly encourage you to watch, maybe not that whole video, but just that section of the video, because even if you've never thought about becoming a blood donor, I would really love it if you would think about it, because again, it's something I'm very passionate about. And even if you don't feel like you can donate blood, remember that you can help in other ways. You can volunteer, you can help to organize a blood drive. And it's just, like I said, something I'm really passionate about because, you know, if you're sick or you're in an accident, or if someone you love finds themselves in a situation where they need blood, we all just kind of take it for granted that the blood will be there, but it's only there if people like you either donate, take the initiative to get your booty to a blood donation center or to a blood drive and donate blood, or if you organize a blood drive and get other people to come and donate blood, okay? So it's just really important, something to think about, and as far as I'm concerned, it is the best and easiest way to do a lot of good. Like, it's the biggest return on your investment. It takes just a few minutes. It's not difficult, it's not painful, and when you consider how minor the sacrifices that you're making and you weigh that against the amount of good that you're doing. If each blood donation can help save up to 3 lives. So to me, that's just an incredible way to give of yourself and to do something useful. So, and something to benefit others, and to just kind of put good out into the world. So if you've never considered becoming a blood donor, please think about it. And if you have any questions about the process, where to begin, how to become a blood donor, how you can help, what it's like to donate blood, please just click on the link in the iCard or down below the video or at the end of the video. Watch my segment that I did last year about becoming a blood donor. And then, of course, if you have any questions and you need any further assistance from there, I'm always right here to help, so please just ask. But for me, it always takes me a few extra days to kind of recover from my blood donation, and so I do think that I'm not fully recovered, and that might be part of the reason why my stamina was lacking today. But I got through it, I pushed through, I got through the entire 20 minutes. It was a tough little workout for me. It was super intense, but I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear about the format of today's workout, how everything fits together and how you can kind of customize it. If you have questions about any of the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I have already demonstrated and explained in the video, I am right here to help. So please just ask. That is going to do it for today, but before I say goodbye, I have to say one final thank you to those of you who have been watching the videos all the way until the end and commenting with the secret code phrase of the day. So before I say goodbye, I will give you today's secret code phrase of the day. It is, did you count Mississippi? So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says, did you count Mississippi? That is going to do it for today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.